Good morning again to the. Good morning, Xavier Rousseau.
Good morning.
Hello, thank you for joining the session. Thank you so much. And so just more 1, 2, 3 minutes to accept everyone on the room. Good morning, Olavi. Buenos dias, Rosa Balas. So let's just wait 1, 2 more minutes. Okay, so I think it's about time to start. To say again very loud, good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for coming to this session. That's the first session of the day. Indeed, that's the fourth day of the European Summit of Smart Communities, European Regions for Smart Communities, that we are glad to host here in Alentejo, Portugal. That's part of the agenda for the Portuguese presidency of the European Union. And this time today, we have later in the day the high-level session, so the ministerial session, and also the session with the former and upcoming presidencies. Also the session with the mayors, which is a quite important one. We have the Smart Tomorrow session. And we start today with this session dedicated to the new European Bauhaus. That's really, indeed, I think that's the most inspiring moment of this summit. The new European Bauhaus is an inspiring program, not only because the goals, but also because the method of co-designing, the method of dialogue, the method of paying attention to aesthetics. So that's why we were so keen and so interested in cooperating as part of this program with the region of Alentejo and also bringing it to be part of our summit. I'm Marcos Nogueira. Apologize, I didn't introduce myself yet. I'm Marcos Nogueira. I'm the permanent representative of Alentejo to the EU in Brussels. I'm also the coordinator of H2020 Rural Project, which is aimed at developing a network of smart communities and creating the digital environment to enable them. And on this subject, the co-design and the principles, the methods and the means of the new European Bauhaus program are very much in line with the idea of creating better, more beautiful and happier smart communities in Europe. This morning, we are very glad of having, I would say, a session about an inspiring program moderated by an inspiring person. We have to moderate the session, and I'm very, very pleased and very glad to introduce you. We have Professor Anna Teles. Professor Anna Teles leads one of the most beautiful institutions in Alentejo. I'm mentioning that way because New European Bauhaus is also about beauty. That's the School of Arts of the University of Évora. And the School of Arts, it's really a very important entity, a very important part of our creative cluster, creative ecosystem. So we are very glad and lucky to have Professor Anna Teles moderating this session today. We are going to have wonderful speakers, starting with the head of unit in charge of this program. So thank you so much for being here. It's really important to have the Commission supporting this initiative, Xavier, so we are very thankful for your time. We know that you are a very busy person. We have also a member of the European Parliament, which is always comforting support from the most important European institution, I would say. We have, for us, very significant presence of the director, sorry, the director of external relations and interregional cooperation for the region of Extremadura. Extremadura for us in Alentejo is a very important region because they are our immediate neighbors and there are a lot of programs going on together. Extremadura has a wonderful program for the European Bauhaus that was so kind on sharing with us. So that's why we are so glad of having Rosa Ballas today with us. We also have Florian Schneider from the National Technical University of Norway, and Florian is leading the Department of Arts and again, an inspiring example of mixing creativeness, academy, artistic practice and education. And we have a number of other speakers and nonetheless a candidate for mayor of Évora, Henrique Sinsin. And okay, we are developing the day. We will be introducing everyone coming. So I would pass the floor to our moderator. Thank you for being here. We have also pay attention that we have our online audience. I got the figures this Sunday, so the dissemination on social media got around 1.5 million people, so we may expect something around of 25 people watching online the broadcast, so not all for this session, distributed among the sessions, but nevertheless, we are talking for a wide online audience. So, Professor Anna Teles, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure, my great pleasure to be here and to moderate this very important session. I think Engineer Marcos Nogueira already said much of what this session is all about. The new European Bauhaus is a very exciting initiative, and it's very important that we gather together to talk about it and to exchange about it. So it's really a pleasure to welcome such distinguished personalities, and honestly, it's a great honor to be here and to welcome you all. I would like to introduce very briefly each one of the speakers as we go along, and I would start obviously with Xavier Rousseau. He's head of unit of the new European Bauhaus at the European Commission Joint Research Center. And since December 2020, he's leading the new European Bauhaus unit created at this center. I'm going just to highlight some aspects because, of course, Xavier is such a personality, and there's so much to say about him. It's very difficult to keep the time short when we're talking about such experienced personality. But in any case, Xavier worked before for the Director General for Information Communication. I'm sorry. culture and audiovisual, where he contributed to the establishment and development of the EU audiovisual policy before representing the European Commission and leading the EU coordination in the negotiation of the 2005 UNESCO Convention on the protection and promotion of the diversity of cultural expressions. As a head of Cultural Policy, Diversity and Intercultural Dialogue Unit in the Director General for Education and Culture, he developed European Agenda for Culture and a new strategy for cultural and creative industries. He contributed to the shaping of the first EU Creative Europe program and managed its media sub-program. Xavier is very experienced in policymaking at the UE level, and his interest in creativity and innovation are very important, especially to the matter that brings us here today. So it's my pleasure to welcome him and give him the floor. Thank you very much, Xavier.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chair. It's a pleasure to join this initiative, and thank you very much for organizing this conversation around the new European Bauhaus. I will try to share my screen to facilitate the presentation. If I'm successful. I hope you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so there's something which is wrong.
Okay, we are starting to see now.
Okay, here it should work, right?
Yes, yes, it's working.
Okay, so this initiative was announced by the President of the Commission, Mrs. von der Leyen, in a presentation of the State of the Union in the European Parliament last year. And for her, we were already a few months into the pandemics. It was already a way to focus the attention on an initiative that would bring hope to European citizens, and that would already drive our thinkings towards the recovery moment. So the idea behind the new European Bauhaus was to shape a movement to explore how to live better together after the pandemics. It's a movement that should revisit the Green Deal, this fundamental objective of the European Union for sustainability, not only as a kind of economic and technological challenge, but more fundamentally as a positive, tangible experience for people. So the idea is that this transformation should be experienced by people as something which improves their life and not something which is just has to be done. The idea is to focus on the built environment, which has a high responsibility in the CO2 emissions, and therefore is part of the solution to meet our targets. This is also a project that should bring together the Europeans from various fields. So it's a way to break the silos and to connect people from different professions, different backgrounds, but also bringing different perspectives and different culture. And the reference to the European Bauhaus, to the Bauhaus, comes from the fact that it's fundamentally also a design challenge. The Bauhaus 100 years ago was renowned for coining this motto, forms follow function, which is still pretty much the basis of contemporary design. But we need to revisit this motto and to enlarge it, because we have to factor the boundaries of the planet and probably to aim at higher social purposes. And this project is also a way to look at how through the market we can make affordable and mainstream new solutions for sustainability. So if we look more closely at what we want to focus on, with this project, we wish to concentrate on the places where we live. So it's a way to be as close as possible to our daily life. It's beyond the buildings in which we live or work. It's the whole urban or rural area where we live, and the way we experience and we live in those places. And it's a way to bring and to match the cultural aspects with the sustainable transformation. It's by definition a project which is interdisciplinary, creating bridge between art and science, between engineering and social analysis. So it's really an interdisciplinary project. It's in a nutshell, the objective is to integrate three fundamental dimensions in the transformation of the places. One is, of course, the Green Deal one, the sustainability, but also the move towards a more circular economy. It's also a project about more inclusion. Living together means also accessibility for all, affordability for all. This is not a project for the elite, but it's a project for everybody. And bringing a third dimension, which at times is forgotten, which is the expectations of people beyond the functionality of the place. So it can be the aesthetics, but it can be also some other elements of the meaning, so the sense of belonging or the identity. And we are in the European Bauhaus when we try to maximize the benefits of the transformation along those three axes. If we are just in one axis, we're not yet in the European Bauhaus. The way we developed this project, as was alluded to by our host, is a bit different from the normal way the Commission is developing initiatives. We didn't come with a green, a white, or a blue book. We started with an invitation for everybody interested to contribute to co-design this initiative with us. So we launched the design phase in January this year, and it will run up until the end of June. And
I'm not sure if we lost the connection.
I think Xavier is not really with us for the time being. I think there's some internet connection problems.
Yes. Let's wait a little bit just to see if he can solve this. Oh, such a pity. It was being such a great presentation.
Yeah. So let's just wait a moment more. Anyway, I could use this little break also to announce that we have with us the University of Bauhaus in Weimar with Professor Uwe Planck, and that's really an opportunity to get directly in touch with an institution that kept alive the legacy and the inspiration of original Bauhaus. So we are going to have today an intervention. So let's wait for the time anyway. But just to make the announcement that among so many other interesting cases and examples brought to this session, we have the University of Bauhaus itself. Okay, so Xavier, can you listen to us?
Yes, hello.
Hello, Uwe.
We have you again, but the image is no, we don't have Xavier.
No.
Okay.
We have still his screen.
Yes.
Yes, maybe I can start my presentation and
he'll come back later. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
should I start or should I wait?
Perhaps I think now the next speaker is the member of European Parliament. So
yeah. Marcus Rose.
Yes. So
maybe we should.
I don't know. We should move on to the next speaker, and later, if If Xavier can be back to conclude the presentation,
Yes.
he will do so after the member of European Parliament. So, Professor Teles, please.
I will very briefly introduce Marcos Rosempere, a member of the European Parliament. He's a professor on leave of absence from urban planning at the School of Architecture of Cartagena. With a PhD in architecture, he specializes in urban planning issues and has a long experience in university education and in rehabilitation of the architectural heritage. And he has just launched 2 weeks ago the new European Bauhaus Friendship Group in the European Parliament. And as I know, this is a group that is expanding very, very quickly and is gathering a lot of interest. So Marcos Sempere, thank you very much for your presence, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Good morning for everyone, to all attendees, speakers, organizers, and in general to all those interested in this important initiative that we are addressing at this Future Lab session today, the new European Bauhaus. It is an enormous honor and pleasure for me to be speaking on this panel today, not only as member of the European Parliament, but also as an architect and urban planning, as you have said, and also a full professor and founder of the new European Bauhaus Friendship Group. This is a group of members interested in this initiative who have decided to join forces to raise the voice of the European Parliament in this project, representing all political groups, all the 7 political groups in the Euro Parliament, and more than 15 member states. We are now more than 32 members interested in this group. Throughout my life, I have combined my political activity with my professional activity as an architect, and I am aware of the great opportunity that this initiative represents to put architecture, urbanism, and design at the center of the European Union's policies. I welcome, but I am afraid that this is the first time that architecture is on the center of the European policies, and this is a very great news. This new Bauhaus comes at a crucial moment for Europe, at a time of transition towards economic recovery, Green Deal, digitalization, and social cohesion. I am a firm believer that architecture can unite all these concepts and put itself at the service of citizens to fully improve their quality of life. This new European Bauhaus aims to make places in Europe more sustainable, beautiful, and inclusive. This triple premise is ideal. It does not renounce of any of the characteristics that any architectural or urban space should achieve. Sustainability, the first one, is a prerequisite in today's context. In this term of the Green Deal, climate law, and the renovation way, all our actions must aim of maximum respect of the environment. We must opt for solutions based on nature, which enhance nature in its dialogue with cities and buildings, and which allow for a balance between our societies and the natural environment. On the second hand, beauty is another key factor, as it allows us to become absorbed in a place due to the proportion in this composition, its character, the material used in this construction, and the design of each of its elements. And on the third point, inclusion is perhaps the most important vertex of this triangle, and that sustainability and beauty must reach everyone and leave no one behind. In this respect, it is essential to ensure the bottom-up nature of this initiative, of this new European Bauhaus. Under these 3 premises, the new European Bauhaus must have a global scope. We must seize this opportunity to focus on the quality of our architecture and design and put it at the service of citizens. It is an unprecedented occasion where architecture can demonstrate its capacity to create all the necessary synergy to achieve better societies. As proof of the need of this global reach, we have the impact it has had since its launch. More than 700 contributions have been submitted. More than 4,000 people have participated in the info sessions, and there are already numerous Bauhaus initiative in most European Union member states. In addition, more than 300 organizations and institutions have applied to become partners of the new European Bauhaus, of which 64 have already been successful. In addition, in this sense, there is great interest for many regional and national governors who want to know how to become partners in the new European Bauhaus, but have so far not known how to go about it, because the European Commission don't want official partners, okay? But this is a point we have to push on it. Through global outreach, we must make changes in several directions to achieve transformation in our places. What is most essential in this project is promoting sustainable living conditions by changing the course of the neoliberal bubble, so that the benefits should go primarily to citizens and do not go mainly or only to companies. These changes will be done through massive quality job creation in the building and restoration sector, as well as the cultural and creative sectors. It will also depend on citizens' active involvement in projects, design and development, quality of life improvements, and major energy savings, paying particular attention to accessibility and affordability to ensure social fairness. And of course, we must recognize that architecture and art and the cultural creative sectors as a whole can be easily combined with other sectors, such as sociology, geography, and urbanism, to create a valuable source of knowledge and practice. Uniting architects, designers, artists, musicians, writers, sociologists, engineers, environmentalists, geographers, and other professions, this new approach should to develop joint practices, overcoming unconscious limitation and giving birth to novel ideas and innovation. The new European Bauhaus initiative will soon begin its implementation through 5 pilot projects financed by 25 million that will serve to improve both the spaces and the cities we live in, as well as the environment that surrounds them. But we should not limit it to that. We should support all viable projects, seeing them as an investment and not as an economic expense. This is why it is essential that the new European Bauhaus should be constituted as a preliminary phase to the renovation wave of buildings planned by the Commission. It can provide a timely opportunity to harness the quality, innovation, and creativity of our architects and designers to rethink and reimagine our cities, our neighborhoods, our buildings, and even our way of life towards a more stimulating and sustainable future. We need renovation wave funds to be conditioned to the implementation of Bauhaus solutions and proposals, because we cannot allow all the major investment in building renovation to end up just changing the air conditioning or putting in solar panels. We need a real transformation of our built environment. Architecture can change our lives, but only good architecture can improve them. On this basis, we cannot transform only our buildings. A holistic approach is needed at all species scales, whatever the size of the project, from landscape architecture to town planning, neighborhood development, infrastructure, building, and as interior architecture and design. It is about making the renovation wave a cultural project, opening the door to more holistic approach or to our built environment, seeking to enhance at the same time economic, social, environmental, and cultural values, as well as access to culture and cultural participation. In addition, I am just going to finish. In addition, the importance of the cultural and historical heritage should be underlined and should play a key role in the new European Bauhaus. Europe's cultural heritage provides an inspiring framework for social cohesion that contributes to the well-being of citizens and their communities. Historic buildings and the surrounding landscape shape and nurture our sense of home. In addition to the historic character of our cities and towns, rural areas, they should not be left out of this new European Bauhaus. In this sense, the new European Bauhaus should review spatial planning and the imbalance that are being generated by the abandonment of the rural to the urban, which leads us to the almost exclusive investment of resources to mitigate climate change in order to make big cities sustainable with unsustainable and excluding urban areas. We are at an excellent moment to continue the dialogue between the actors involved in this project, with the co-design phase launched a few months ago, the high-level table set up, many partners already associated, priorities becoming more and more defined. I firmly believe that the European Parliament exercising its role as the representative of European citizenship should play a more active role, supporting this bottom-up initiative and contributing the ideas of its members. And that is why I considered it appropriate to propose to the entire Parliament the creation of this new European Bauhaus Friendship Group as tool for members to share views, concern, and reflection of the new European Bauhaus. We are no more than 30 members, and we have 4 aims: being able to channel and discuss the concerns the citizens we represent, develop activities as part of the new European Bauhaus, facilitate debate in the co-design phase, and serve as a meeting point for members interested in the initiative. In addition, and to conclude, I believe that the Commission and Parliament should start a formal dialogue on this initiative. Only in this way can it become a new flagship program of the European Union through a cultural project that combines sustainability, design, architecture, and a significant improvement in the quality of the space we live on a daily basis. I would like to end with a reflection by Walter Gropius, who was the founder of the original Bauhaus in Weimar in the 20th century, who says the following: architecture is again becoming an integral part of our existence in something dynamic and not static. It lives, changes, expresses the intangible through the tangible. It gives life to inert materials by relating them to human beings. Conceived in this way, its creation is an act of love. Let us continue to support architecture as an indispensable part of our life, as a way to improve them, as well to have a more sustainable, beautiful, and inclusive future for us and our planet. So thank you very much for this initiative and for this debate today, and I am at your disposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marcos. And it was very inspiring that you finished with this quote from Walter Gropius. It was very insightful too that everything you told us about the European Bauhaus Friendship Group and the mobilization of partners to carry on this important initiative, and also such concrete measures and steps to implement it. So thank you very much for your contribution. I think we are now in a position to welcome back Xavier Rousseau. Can we go back to the presentation? Xavier?
Yes, I'm sorry. I did not discover even that my connection was broken. So I was talking alone. But I don't know when it stopped. So should I start again, or how do you wish me to handle the situation?
I think we were about on your second or third slide.
Okay, so I start again to try to share my screen. And I will try to retrieve where we were. Okay, so maybe I have already presented that, but that's important. So I just want to stress the triangle of values of the new European Bauhaus. So you're in the new European Bauhaus, when you try to combine the sustainability aspect, including the circularity dimension, together with the inclusion, that's the together, and it's about accessibility, affordability, but also social inclusion, and also the aesthetics, that is what people expect from places that
I think we're having problems again. Xavier, can you hear us?
Indeed, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, I think it's not working.
No. Okay, this is, yeah. Anyway, Professor Anatels, I would suggest, in order to prevent us to get too late on the agenda, also because I know that Mrs. Rosa Balas, representing the region of Extremadura, Rosa Balas is the Director for External Relations and Interregional Cooperation, and we are very pleased to have Rosa today with us. Rosa is a friend. There is plenty of cooperation programs between Extremadura and Alentejo. We are part of the same Euro region. Extremadura, it's our closest friend in Europe, may I say. So that's the region we cooperate the best. And we are also, I know that you are very busy today because you have to leave. So that's, thank you so much for making it possible to be here. And Professor Anatels, let me just allow me to introduce Rosa to the session.
Of
Please,
course.
Rosa, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, and really it's a pleasure have today here with you, and also to share a screen, no space with colleagues, with friends like Marcos, Ros, or with Enrique Sinsin, and especially really thanks to Marcos Nogueira, and also for the organization, no? This crucial moment, this very important summit. For us, for Extremadura region, for Alentejo, and for Region Center, it's a nice project. We are really involved with this strategy and with this very important challenge that the European Commission proposed some months ago. We are engaged because Alentejo, Centro, Extremadura, we are a region, Euroace, our region have the most important elements for this challenge. No? We have a beautiful natural and cultural heritage. We have a huge environmental strategies and experience. And all these elements are the perfect way to create a new paradigm for Europe. That's why we started some months ago in this adventure, and now we are working together and designing how this project, this new European Bauhaus, could be in our territory. Because the most important thing with every European strategy is to adapt European strategy to the territory. And that's why we have two very different elements, or maybe two key elements. First one is our cross-border issue, no? Our cross-border cooperation. And the second one is our rural element. We are three regions that if we are not together, we are not in the middle, but when we are together, we are in the middle of Spain and Portugal. This is a huge power. And also because the natural elements that the Green Deal established, like a goal, our identity. We have some. We have a wonderful, a beautiful weather, we have water, we have cultural heritage, and we have talent in the region and talent of the region in another part of our countries or in another part of the world. How we can mix all these elements. This is the new challenge that we are designing. Currently, we have 2 lines. We are creating a campus Bauhaus, an Euroace campus Bauhaus, with the first goal that is to explain to the society, to the universities, schools, designers, engineers, architects, how we can change the world. No? This is our campus, Bauhaus, but also we are taking in account experiences that we have in our 3 regions. There is a beautiful project in Portugal that is Aldeias Históricas, and that means we can make beautiful our village and how we can improve the environment of this village. And for example, we want to make new alliance with another small village in Extremadura and also in another part of Spain to create to create a new network for this very nice project. But also we have projects very important also in Portugal, like Fábrica de Creatividade in Castelo Branco, that is a very nice example. We are working in a new strategy in Extremadura, but sure involving Alentejo Centro, that the name is Hack Stream. That means to hack our mentalities in the next months and to transform our spaces and also our mentalities for the future. We have many circular fab in different parts of the territory of Extremadura, in a small village, and how we can mix art with technologies, with innovation, and also with culture. No, it's a very nice project. But the most important thing that we want to explain, or we want to achieve with this strategy, is to change the idea of the Bauhaus that Marcos Ross explained before. The Bauhaus can be only for cities, cannot be only for the traditional vanguardist places. Bauhaus, the new European Bauhaus, must be also rural. And this word rural, we have to put in the middle of the different panel and discussion, because it's not possible to achieve the Green Deal without involving in a key position rural areas. And this is our project, this is our strategy. We discussed some weeks ago with Marco Ross this vision, and really I hope you involve also, because we need partner. We need partner for different organizations, institutions, but also for foundations. Foundations very important in Portugal, like Eugenio Dalmeida, that really I know Enrique works a lot with innovations, vision, and strategies. And we have to take advantage of this big opportunity to put the rural world in the center of this amazing and really exciting project. And thank you so much. And really, Thank you, because I know that you know I have to go now to Yuste, to Monasterio de Yuste, and I can't stay the whole panel. Thank you so much.
Dear Rosa, thank you very much for your address. It was very important to think the European Bauhaus ideals in the context of these specific territories, be it Extremadura or Alentejo. And that was a very great contribution. Also, the fact that you recall that this is a great opportunity to put the rural world in the center of the discussion is also very important to us, especially in this region. So thank you very much for that. I'm not sure if we have Xavier Rousseau, so I would suggest we would go on with Henrique Sinsin. Is that possible?
Hello. I think on the agenda now we have Florian Schneider from NTNU.
Henrique Sinsin was supposed to speak before that, but...
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, Professor.
Henrique Sinsin is an advisor to the General Secretary and coordinator of the Social and Development Area at the Fundação Eugênio de Almeida, a very important institution in this region, in the Alentejo. This foundation is actually a driving force behind an integrated series of initiatives of its own, either exclusively or in partnership, covering the areas of culture and education, social welfare and aid, and heritage. So it's my pleasure to give the floor to Henrique Sinsin. Thank you very much for being here.
Hello, thank you very much, Professor Natelj, and I'd like to say hello to Marcos, to Rosa, to Sandra, and to all of our partners in this session. Well, I will try to share my screen also. I hope I can. So I think you are already seeing. Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay. Oh, great. So as Professor Natelj said, I represent here the Eugênio de Almeida Foundation. This is the beautiful city of Évora, and the Eugênio de Almeida Foundation is really in the center of the beautiful city of Évora, and it was established in 1963, and as already said, had a mission to promote the social, the development, educational, also cultural, and so we are a typical foundation. So it was established in 1963 by one philanthropic man, Vasco Maria Eugênio de Almeida. And it's a particular way of doing the foundation, because we are producer of olive oil, wine, and all the products of the earth. So we have a strong relation with the rural areas, and then we develop our mission. As you can see, Évora, it's a very beautiful and quiet city. And as the member of the parliament said, of the requalification, in 2009 and 2013, we developed a huge program of requalification of the headquarters of the foundation. Here it is, the patio of San Miguel, and also the Inquisition Palace in the center of the city near the Roman Temple. That is now this is one of the first contributions that I would like to bring to this discussion, to this panel. That is the role of the rehabilitation and the requalification of buildings, of beautiful buildings, of historic buildings, giving them new life, new ideas, new networks, and how this can really achieve this main goal of the Bauhaus project. And we also have this. We also have done this in the rural area. So this is our winery near Évora, about 5 kilometers of Évora, and this is how the one view of how can the requalification of the patrimony really can achieve new and sustainable and inclusive and creative contributions for the local communities. Also another view of one of our activities, and this is what the Inquisition Palace, and you can see how art can contribute for the tolerance and for to bring people together and to share ideas, to share visions. I would like also to address to this presentation. My main work is at the Social Invention Center. So this is a work that the foundation is developing since 2009, more or less. In 2018, we established this Social Innovation Center that is a space of community and communities, as I always said. So we try to build a new community in Évora, to shape a new ecosystem in Évora regarding the new approaches of solving problems through social innovation, and also a center for gathering communities around the region, around people from all around the world, and of course from Extremadura and from other partners that we are engaged. Today, I am at the center. Today, we'll have here a forum for investment and entrepreneurship, and we'll have here also the reflection and examples and knowledge about how can social innovation really can shape a better future. And I believe that is really related with this new European Bauhaus project. So how can this work that we've done here, that we are doing here, can really contribute for the new European Bauhaus? First of all, we are promoting change. We are preparing change makers for the future. So we are developing several work with the young people, with really young people from the 12 to the 18s, and prepare them to really being part of the community, really engage with the community, really know what the community have and can achieve. And so we are preparing change maker for the future, and that is, I believe, a new vision that I think Bauhaus should be also increased. We are also developing, preparing professionals and young people. Some of them were in situation of unemployment, and we know that we have 25% of unemployment young people in our country, in our region. So we are preparing them for to acquire skills, to develop their ideas, to test and to share their ideas, and then to be in part and in being driving of this social change. We are doing also this with more mature entrepreneurs, and giving them the possibility of accelerate their projects and to scale up their project and really to change this and something that we are all doing is about gathering people together. That is something that, well, in the rural areas is something really difficult. So sharing ideas, sharing visions, inspiring, create new work, and co-create new solutions is often something that we in the foundation are important work. Of course, we are. This is not something that we have just imagined ourselves. We are driving to the cycle of social innovation. This is the example of the next social cycle. We are doing this, and in Portugal, right now, we have a very, very interesting ecosystem. We are more than 25 centers in the whole country. In Alentejo, I believe we have 5 social incubators. So we have this network of 25 specific social incubators, and in Portugal, we have more than 150 incubators. So we can really be part of this new idea for Europe. We have knowledge. We have more than 500 new social initiatives in the last 5 years We have public we also are it's included in the Alentejo strategy for smart specialization. So this is an X that is really connected with the local, the regional, and the national policies. So in Portugal can be really a showcase for this transformation through social innovations. For this, I believe we should really engage people. That's one of the main points of our work. It's engage people. We need to build new solutions with real people, not only from the academy, not only for enterprise, not only for the public administrations, but with real people, with the young people, with the unemployment, with the excluded people. So we are creating really an ecosystem that really can bring preparing and offering new solutions for all these problems. And what I'd like to hand my presentation and to say some main conclusions that I'd like to share with you. So in particular, this context and moment of the global challenge led by the pandemic, but also led by the climate change, the environment destruction, the youth unemployment, as I've said, the extremism and hate that is shared through social media, the social exclusion. Social innovation really can emerge as a potential sustainable solution and driver for social change, building these new, beautiful, sustainable, inclusive places to live together. So the new European Bauhaus should take into account a truly and genuine engagement of local communities, creating new spaces for gathering, for inspiration, for sharing, for building capacities, and to co-create the new social solutions that we need to achieve this desired systemic transformation that all we should achieve also. And in Portugal, the social innovation ecosystem is increasing and it's achieving its best moment. So we have a strong network of social innovation incubators, as I said before. We have public policies, we have communities, we have entrepreneurs, we can engage, and the academy is also with us. And we have some funds. The first fund that it was promoted by the UE funds for social innovation. So we have the experience of leading with funds. And I believe we can really be a pilot for Europe. And yes, in EBRA is also being part of this new, beautiful, inclusive, and sustainable history. And I think the foundation is also giving it share part for this transformation. Thank you very much. I believe I have my time already done, and great work for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this contribution. It's really interesting that you reminded us of the requalification of the Eugenio de Almeida Foundation premises, which is a great example of a new, sustainable, inclusive, and creative use of built heritage. Also, I thought very interesting that you recalled the vision and mission of the foundation, because of course it represents a good example of what the impact of inclusive, sustainable, and beautiful projects may have in a rural region such as Alentejo. Also, I think one point that you made, which is very interesting, is that is the importance of the engagement of local communities. So thank you very much for reminding us of all that. I would
Professor Teles, let me just also to thank Henrique Sinsin. This summit is about sustainable ecosystems, but also about smart communities, and smart communities need leaders. And indeed, Henrique Sinsin has been leading so many wonderful projects in Alentejo. That's really great to have you here. And I can say that everybody knows here, but so why not to let Europe know that Henrique Sinsin is candidate to be the next mayor of Évora. So that's also important to see that there is this vitality in Alentejo to have people offering themselves to be really in the front of the smartest possible communities here. So thank you, Henrique Sinsi. And being candidate even more, your schedule is very busy. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure, Martin. Grande abraço para todos. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we should probably go on to Florian Schneider. I just wanted to announce before we do so that Xavier Rousseau unfortunately had to leave us. He was very sorry about the internet connection problems he had, and he will make his presentation available to the organization so that then it can be shared with all the people here and everyone who is interested in it. So he asked me to, of course, convey his apologies, and we'll have a chance to hear him in another time, I hope. So I would like then to go on and introduce Florian Schneider. He's a filmmaker, a writer, and a curator, and he's a professor at the Trondheim Academy of Fine Art, and he's a head of department, so in the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. He investigates relationships of imaginary property and new divisions of labor within the cultural industries, which is a really exciting topic. Since 2019, he's the chair of the Cost Action European Forum for Advanced Practices. So it's my pleasure to give the floor to Florian Schneider. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you very much for the invitation and for this amazing opportunity to share some ideas in this co-design process. I'm trying to share screen. Yep, this should be up. So thank you for the introduction. I had the honor the last 7 years to be the head of the smallest department of contemporary art, in the smallest faculty that covers art, architecture, and design, but within Norway's largest university with 40,000 students and more than 10,000 researchers. And we are very proud and honored that the EU Commission has accepted NTNU as an official partner of the new European Bauhaus, because we see this Bauhaus, or the new European Bauhaus, is a fantastic opportunity to demonstrate, for example, what I hope to have learned as an artist and as a university professors. Activities, although they seem to be small in number, can have huge impact in society. But, and this is our approach in a nutshell, this impact needs to be based on research and evidence. It requires our commitment to scale up, to scale deep, and to scale out. And this is the really exciting news since the speech of the President to the State of the Union. It assigns a key role for the cultural and creative sectors. This is really exciting. And in this context, our goal at NTNU is what we roughly describe as actionable futures. It translates, or it has to result in a kind of distributed ownership of a real transformation process that indeed sets out to create systemic change. I would like to bother you with something that happened to me last week. I mean, something really unexpected. I wrote to a colleague who is very engaged and internationally leading in the development of zero emission technology. And I somehow had the audacity to make what I considered a certain provocation. So I wrote to her, climate neutrality is first and foremost an aesthetic challenge. So I expected protest, at least some sincere disagreement. But to my big surprise, the opposite happened. So, okay, I try not to be naive. Of course, we all know that the complexity of the challenge of climate neutrality includes a range of technological, economic, and also, most importantly, social implications. And there are many examples, of course, how even art can effectively contribute to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Yeah. So we know, and we are working with alliances of big city theaters, large music festivals that are turning climate neutral. They are developing new forms of self-governance and programming based on the principles of climate neutrality, and many even more examples and initiatives that really help raising an increased awareness about the complexity of the challenges. This all is very important, but it is not what I mean or what I was referring to when I said climate neutrality might turn out first and foremost as an aesthetic challenge. I meant this statement in the most literal sense, because climate neutrality is an abstract concept, but it depends on the appreciation of the local communities that are supposed to generate, to enjoy, and most important, to maintain it. So we have to radically expand our understanding of what is a stakeholder in this process, and we have to involve those who are usually not included in the picture, those who are outside of the frame. For example, as Francesca Bria mentioned at the New Bauhaus conference, workers who might lose their jobs in the process of transformation, migrant communities, and youth, and all those entities who are not considered to be entitled to make decisions about their own future. So another way of understanding climate neutrality as an aesthetic challenge is to use the existing infrastructure. For example, I mean, most importantly, in the recovery phase after the pandemic, use the existing infrastructure in the cultural and creative sector to stage new relationships and new negotiations between the different knowledges. We are working on projects about 5G street theater together with the telecommunication provider Telenor. We are working with our colleagues in computer science on digital twins that are mapping social justice issues in a street smart city. And we are working with our colleagues in marine technology and marine biology on how to use bioplastics for artistic and musical performances. So climate neutrality needs to be made visible, sensible, and tangible as a contemporary form of beauty. And a beauty that is circular rather than just shared, a beauty that is creative rather than exploitative or purely extractive. So what I suggest to call circular aesthetics, this could begin with a very simple and modest acknowledgement. Creativity is not only the privilege of artists and designers and architects. Scientists and engineers are not just number crunchers, they are equally creative, to say the least. And the beauty of this kind of cross-disciplinary collaborations, this stems for capacity to listen to each other, to show respect for the achievements and the excellence in each discipline, and to build trust on this basis. So ultimately, it is about new alliances for actionable futures through co-attributing impact that is based on a research across disciplines, that is based on evidence, and that is based on a kind of collective creativity and intelligence. And again, this requires a kind of reverse engineering. So rather than wishful thinking that what we can do right now might hopefully have impact in the future, it's about analyzing what will have had to have happened to matter, and how this could have been related to a wide range of activities and concrete actions that have to happen right now, right here in the present. So what are we doing right now here at NTNU? We are in the middle of a co-designing process of a new NTNU Bauhaus. And this really involves all researchers, all colleagues across the entire university in the most inclusive way. This is a really exciting new challenge. It involves all faculties and all forms of knowledge production by researchers, but also by students, and most importantly, by citizens. So we want to co-create a concept of societal innovation that links what we call anticipatory practices with participatory practices. Or in other words, reconnecting the two concepts that would not exist without each other. Planning on one hand and improvisation on another hand. Just to give you one example, we will soon launch in the context of the research catalog a portal for aesthetics and sustainability, in which we want to feature hybrid, rich media formats that are addressing the issues of climate neutrality. And this is all parts of a number of or wide range of different activities that we are setting up at the moment, both on a Norwegian as well as on a European level, to build genuinely new alliances across sectors, actors, and disciplines. And we are very, very excited about the new European Bauhaus initiatives, because it provides not only authorization and legitimization for such an approach, we see it also as a very effective and pragmatic incubator in order to achieve these goals. So thank you very much. I hope I stayed in time. Yeah, quite well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And thank you, Florian, for highlighting the key role of the cultural and creative sector if a real transformation process for systemic change is to happen. That is really a key idea, I think, and it's great to have it highlighted in such a powerful manner as you did. And also, I very much appreciated how you exemplified how the creative and cultural sector may actually enhance climate neutrality. That's a topic that's very dear to me personally, and in my functions too. And I think it's a key idea here. So thank you for highlighting that in such a clear manner. Anyway,
may I thank you also to have you, Professor Florian Schneider, and also to have NTNU in the summit. We did some time ago a co-creation exercise that resulted in the Smart Tomorrow brand to bring the leaders together. And today we are going to have a session, I think 12 mayors coming to debate directly with the Commission exactly those new concepts. I hope they can take good inspiration from your words and the examples we could see here today, also from Extremadura and from the foundation represented by Enrique Sinsin, and so much from NTNU. So thank you so much. I have to, Professor Anna Telsch, we are now going to have a break, I think, and I have to apologize to the audience and especially to you, because I may have to leave the second half of the session. For the second half, my colleague Paula Peiró, who is executive coordinator of H2020 Aurora project, will be with Professor Anna Telsch just to help on the moderation, if in case of need. And unfortunately, I have to leave because this session is so big, with so many interesting presentations, that is a little bit overlapping the Smart Tomorrow session where I have to move to. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And so we'll close now for the break, and we will come back in 15 minutes at 10:30 Portuguese time and 11:30 Central European time. Thank you very much, and see you in 15 minutes. So welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
Hello. So I would like to start now the second half of our panel by introducing Raquel Losada Duran, who's head of the Interest Research Development and Innovation Department. She has a MS in psychology and a certificate in proficient studies in social psychology and organizational anthropology. And at Interest, she has worked as researcher, project manager, and project coordinator of more than 30 national and European projects under programs such as Age 2020, Health, Interreg, Erasmus Plus LLP, FP7, CIP, and National RDI. She has coordinated cooperation for development projects with Latin American countries, and she also is very active in the realms of competitive intelligence, scaling up strategies for innovative products and services, and international networking. Raquel, thank you very much for your presence here, and you have the floor.
Just a small comment, if I may. Also, a special thank you to Raquel and the whole Interest team for the excellent coordination of Invention project, which we have been working for years, and which is having a wonderful impact in the aging society in Spain and Portugal. So personal and a special thank you.
Many thanks. Thank you very much to you and the organizing partners of this event, and for inviting us to such an exciting session. So I'm going to share my screen. Is it okay? Can you see the presentation? Yes,
perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly present you the Integratención project, a cross-border platform for scaling up innovative solutions in social healthcare of elderly people at home. And I would like to start reminding the fact that demographics in Europe are experimenting a dramatic change given the aging population that is increasing. And at the same time, it is also increasing the incidence of chronic diseases, of disabilities, and dependency situations. And all the situation is leading up to a long-term care pressure onto our welfare systems. And in this context, imagining future and innovative spaces for both caring and meaningfully living is not trivial. It's not trivial at all. These spaces can be and should be sustainable, inclusive towards elderly people, and why not comfortable and beautiful. Pandemics, the corona pandemics has brought back again the never-ending discussion of how care models should be, and the possibility of aging at home has regained all of its strength and pertinence. Since aging at place has, as we know, a number of considerable advantages. Currently, for instance, the possibility of avoiding contagions in case of epidemics and pandemics. It also allows seniors to live independently longer, avoiding an accelerated decline that is often associated to the fact of living in institutions. Comfort also comes with staying at home, and of course it favors preservation of the style of life, routines, hobbies, and etc. It allows also an important thing, which is proximity with families and friends. And finally, and it is the most important thing, according to the studies, it is the preferred option for older adults. But yet, I have to say that there are many challenges ahead of us and difficulties when it comes to it at home. So, our project, Integratención, it is a cross-border platform for scaling up innovative solutions for social and health care. It strives for allowing people to stay at home as they age, if they wish, with appropriate support and integrated care, and even at the end of their lives. The area of or the territorial scope of the project, as you can see on the screen, is the north of Portugal and Castilla y León regions, where 6 partners have joined forces and expertise to fulfill all our goals as project. And these partners are Fundación Intras and the region of Castilla y León, Plena Inclusión in Castilla y León as well, the University of Salamanca, Team Douro, and the Health Cluster Portugal. How are we going to achieve our purpose? Well, our core proposition for living at home lies on the Integral Atención model. This model, it aims at improving the quality of life of seniors, providing integrated social and healthcare, but also supported by innovative technologies. So the model combines elements such as quality of life, well-being, proactive and preventive intervention, a holistic understanding of the person, a person-centric care, and the notion of life project. This is a very important notion and a core element that is structuring how we plan care and how we deliver care. And it means basically that the preferences, wishes, needs, and life goals of the person will lead the support, the kind of care that is provided, the type and intensity. So in other words, it is co-designing, co-creating with the patient, with the user, with people, their care plan, putting them at the driver's seat. So innovation and technology are also of utmost importance in our project, since they allow affordable and efficient services addressing basic needs such as safety, security, healthcare, entertainment, social activity, physical activity, cognitive activity, etc. And indeed, one of the main challenges that Integral Atención faces is the alignment of 2 delivery chains, 2 complex services delivery chains for a seamless and continuity provision of care that are the care chain itself, social and health level, and on the other hand, the technology value chain. This involves managing complexity, diverse professionals, roles, activities, and tasks at the same time. And this is something that we are testing and improving in our project. Another challenge relates to technology. So as we all know, the market of assistive technologies is fragmented. The offer is limited and disconnected from public care models in our territories. So to this end, we have set up the Independent Living and Wellbeing Impact Hub as a place to foster technology innovation and impact assessment by the companies of the territory. So the Impact Hub objectives are promoting, of course, co-design and co-creation with final users, allowing them a voice, promoting local impact of innovation, specializing the innovation ecosystems of the region in social and healthcare innovation, fostering social impact, of course, allowing a better match between offer and demand, of course, promoting networking, training, knowledge exchange, piloting, everything. So the services, the concrete services that we deliver in the Impact Hub are a living lab for testing and co-creating in real environments with users, with end users, with persons, with elderly people. Also a variety of training workshops and consultancy for the companies in funding, in research and development incentives, business models, etc. So these are some pictures about the Impact Hub activity. And up to now, I have to say that 18 companies have benefited from the Impact Hub services, and amongst them, 3 have been selected in a public call to upscale their solution, thanks to a pilot test in 40 dwellings in rural environments, but will facilitate further technology improvement and further technology uptake in the territory, of course. And you can see on the bottom of the screen the three winners of this public call that are Alpha IoT, Tucubi Care, and Solutia Digital Health. More concretely, we have here the technologies. Tucubi by Tucubi is an intelligence voice-powered virtual caregiver who provides continuous care for the elderly. The technology FEMS by Alpha IoT is a flexible and comfortable journey in soul that provides security for elderly people. Virtual care for home by Solutia is an intelligent home assistance system based on Internet of the Things. And also, in the end, Graduate by IDES has joined us with a multi-platform for stimulation and neuropsychological rehabilitation therapies online. So to conclude, it is to highlight that we are still in a pilot phase, in a pilot stage. And at the same time, we are performing an impact assessment on several levels, on the microsystem, mesosystem, and macrosystem level to evaluate the impacts on persons, family, close environment, services, society, etc. We don't have the numbers right now. We are on it. But soon we will. And if you are interested in following us, you can do it at integratencion.eu or in the social media. And with this analysis, what we expect is to demonstrate in a way that it is possible to improve very much the elderly people daily life in their own environments, in their homes, which is a great impact for them, for society, since it involves making them happier and healthier as well. So with that said, I'm finished with my presentation.
Thank you very much, Raquel. I think it was really interesting that you pointed out the thematic of this Integrate Atención project, because of course we cannot imagine inclusion without considering aging processes and places, and it's so good that you pointed that out in this panel. Also, the idea of an ecosystem of partners and stakeholders from different backgrounds and sectors working together for this goal. It's a very interesting and important idea. So thank you very much for this important contribution. Now I would like to introduce our next speaker. I'm very happy to have Professor Inês Seca Ruivo here with us. I'm especially happy because, of course, we're from the same institution, the School of the Arts of the University of Évora. Inês Seca Ruivo is a professor at the Visual and Design Department from the University of Évora, and she formerly held functions as pro-rector for quality assurance and cultural activities at the same university. And as a designer, she has developed several projects relating to sustainable management, and it's my pleasure to give her the floor. Thank you, Inês. Inês, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sorry. First of all, I would like to thanks for the invitation for this amazing initiative and say good morning to all the panel. I will try to share my screen, but I think I cannot, because maybe I think the other presentation must be put out of the screen, no?
Okay, just removed it. Try again, Inês. Sorry for this.
No problem. Okay. Okay. So this communication will focus on the holistic contribution of design as a response to the challenge and opportunities that underline the understanding, exploration, and operation of sustainable development models using co-creation process. Now, Sorry. Okay. In 38 Art, Italo Calvino reminds us of the alchemical sense of the idea of collective creation as a shared experience that brings together the notion of awareness of our brand over time as a prothetic extension of the marks left by others before us. This notion is the core of the thinking underlining the concept of sustainable development, as well as the design thinking processes, and in the context of this meeting is the base of the principles intrinsic to the new European Bauhaus initiative. In 2021, we find ourselves 34 years after the official confirmation of the environmental crisis of the 80s, in which the World Commission of Environment and Development published the study Our Common Future. It is there for the first time that the concept of sustainable development is defined as being the progress that satisfies the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to satisfy their own needs. For the operation of the concept, collaborative work between governments, industry, and university is then defended as mandatory. 10 years later, John Elkington proposed the triple bottom line method as a key to success for business of the future, arguing that sustainability is a concept that can only be applied through the balanced relationship of three factors: profit in the perspective of prosperity economy, planet in the view of environmental quality, and people considering social equality. It is, however, in 2001 that John Wakes warns of culture's essential role in public planning, defending it as for the fourth pillar of sustainable development. 14 years later, the United Nations General Assembly assumes this same premise in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, defining that culture is both a facilitator and a driver of economy, social, and environmental dimensions of sustainability. Considering the complexity of the problem of today's society, the success of the sustainability strategies must necessarily more and more be based on a collaborative and co-creative culture. In 2012, focus on studies related to sustainable development of a city or region, the United Nations Global Compact Cities Program presents the Circles of Sustainability methods. Integrated in the Circles of Social Life project, this proposal is addressed to municipal and regional governments that collaborate with private sectors and civil society, and aims to provide a platform for action in partnership, focus on addressing complex global challenges reflected at the local level. For the equation of the expected effects in the medium to long term of any collaborative investment, it is important to co-target from the outset what are we going to invest in, for whom, and how we are going to do it. It is also crucial to know and analyze strategically what we are in the present and how we want to be in the future, defining in advance where we want to go, how we are going to do it, with what energy and resources spent, and with what shared goals of arrival. To the extent articulation of these premises, it's important to have topic bases such as how do we want to be the recipients of our actions in the medium and long term? What are their expectations and needs? What do we have of significant to offer them? What do we want to create as new? What do we want to leverage from what already exists? What resources we have? What resources do we lack? What will our strategic and circular investment be about? How are we going to organize this and operationalize it? With what expanded results and impacts? In this perspective, one of the questions that guide the teaching of design at the University of Évora is precisely how can we contribute to the sustainability at global, national, and local level, considering the identification of specific problem and related opportunities. Design, historically, a collaborative mediator of other areas and a multifaceted creative engine driving innovation. It is also a professional and scientific field based on an holistic approach, attentive to society, culture, and environment, economy, technology, and with a focus on the needs of specific groups and users. In this way, the role of design is increasingly fundamental in the constitution of evolutionary paths of human production, having an enormous responsibility about the safeguarding of the heritage of future generation, be it natural, material, immaterial, or intangible. Starting with the identification of a problem or opportunity, the design method is based on research, knowledge, and systemic thinking with windows open to the world, based on the analysis and co-analysis of variables oriented by the binomial problem solution. This process is consolidated by decision-making and by the discovery of new vision, synthesized in the act of designing, driving responses, their validation, realization, test, and monitoring implementation results. In that perspective of collaborative innovation processes, it is stressed design thinking contribution. Design thinking refers to the method based on the co-creative strategies that designers use during the process of designing a product, brand, or service, allowing decisions making to be based on evidence that results from the application of specific tools, thus reducing the risk of failure. This process used the designer's informed and multidisciplinary sensitivity, knowledge, and methods to combine the needs of people with what is technological feasible and with a viable commercial strategy, which converts the result both in value for the users and in market opportunity. Currently, EDO proposals also integrate the combination of what is ecological responsible, having available a set of tools applicable to the development of circular design. In summary now, I will present a group of projects by students from our bachelor and master degree in design based on the principles of sustainability, using validation co-creation methods that incorporate in most cases users and experts from other fields. Motivated by the evaluation of marble sector, we have the Carolina Batista project, which combines national statistic data in a value proposition for the marble processing industry. The proposal consists on taking advantages of the waste resulting from the stone extraction process, still in the order of 80 to 90%, and applying it to added value products. Another approach, based on the huge problem of water consumption management, the project by Jorge Barrocas and Madalena Mendes propose a condensation and purification system for bath water vapor with the capacity to store 2.2 liters of drinking water for an estimated 5 minutes shower. The Tiago Cerveira project focused the problem of the production of electronic waste, which is 2018 representing 50 million tons. This proposal is based on a modular smartphone composed of 90% biomaterials and eco-materials. This and the next project works on the field of design for health. This first one by Ana Almeida consists of a device to combat anxiety in children through the specific breathing exercise and aromatherapy. According to the World Health Organization, anxiety affects 20 to 30% of children worldwide. A version with natural materials is currently being developed. On the other hand, João Vitor proposed a universal product adaptable to any wheelchair with the goal of increasing the autonomy of safety of the users and maneuvers of ascending and descending slopes. This problem is estimated to affect 151 million people. In the context of social and cultural innovation, we also have several projects, of which we highlight three. Little Heroes by Sofia Espadinha, that is a platform for the promotion of volunteering among children and their families through a system of co-creation and co-retribution of solidarity actions based on the strong playful pedagogical caricature of patents earned according to accomplishing goals. Guadalupe Franco presents a solution for the reduction of claims in Madeira Island, considering the tourist activity of levadas, which are irrigation canals flanked by winding pedestrian routes. Dedicated to the tourists that visit Évora, Ana Sofia Ricardo presents a platform for the promotion of a user-friendly experience based on a narrative to highlight the distinctive cultural and natural values of the district. Within the scope of slow design, we have also developed projects with companies and national associations of artisans with a view to reevaluate and reposition the sector whose associated ancestral knowledge is in many cases at risk of extinction. In this context stands out the project developed for the Artisan Association of Northern Alentejo, where students worked on the visual identity of the association and the brands and products of 5 of its artisans. Here we have the results developed for the contest launched by the brand Home by Belcor, whose goal was the design of home equipment, assuming cork as a privileged material. On the other hand, considering the articulation between the world of science and technology and the world of art and culture in a collaborative perspective, it was created in 2017 by me and Professor Paulo Quaresma, the idea, a transdisciplinary unit for research and development of applied innovation, whose vision and methods focus on collaborative resolution of complex problems. From the idea projects, I will briefly present 3, which teams incorporate researchers and collaborators for fields as design, engineer, chemistry, management, or sociology, as well as actors from outside the academy. Now, Toulouse has its origin in Katia Bailan Silva master degrees, having subsequently been developed the technology related to it, patent at European level, and it distinguished with the BFK Ideas Award in the competition promoted by the National Innovation Agency. Focus on the problem of temporary shelter for migrants in the context of internal displacement and considering the constraints related to access to drinking water, we developed a range of tents beyond inspired in geometry of molluscal nautilus. We also developed a system. Because I had a problem here. We also developed a new material inspired in natural organisms as the beetle, the Namibia beetle, the lotus leaf and the butterfly wings. Proposed by design alumni Yara Neves and Joana Cardoso, this project consists of a mobile application to support victims of domestic violence, allowing the activation of the request for help in real time. In addition to IDEA project, we had the support by Santa Casa of Misericordia of Lisboa, namely in the validation tests and in the study of implementation strategies. This last one project is Trigger, that is web-based matchmaking platform that promotes the effectiveness and efficiency of the process of generating balanced transdisciplinary teams with a focus on collaborative work based on artificial intelligence. The platform is able to propose the correlation of teams imbalance at the individual level, considering hard and soft skills, or at socio-geographic levels. Closely aligned with the principles underlying the new European Bauhaus, we welcome the relevance of this initiative carried out by the European Commission, and we are very enthusiastic about the windows that open in this way, also for Alentejo region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Inês. It was a very inspiring presentation with lots of different projects, and you were right in the point calling our attention to the importance of design thinking, for one thing, and also on the importance of culture as the fourth pillar of sustainable development. So this is really important. It goes in the same sense of what Florian Schneider was saying earlier on. So it was, I also appreciated very much the fact that many of the projects are related, directly related to this territory and its specific economic activities and cultural heritage, but also to different transversal problems, such as migration, access to drinking water, domestic violence, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a very comprehensive, thank you very much for that. As we're running a little bit late, I will very quickly turn to Laura Kodere from the Economics Department of the Ventspils City Council and leader of the UIA project. Laura holds a master's degree in business administration and a double master's degree in international business and export management at the Ventspils University and IMC University of Applied Science in Krems. And also she has a diploma in project management. So Laura, thank you very much for being here. The floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me well?
Yeah.
I will share my screen, and if it's possible somehow. Let's do like this. Do you see my screen? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, perfectly.
Right, thank you. First of all, thank you for invitation. I'm very happy to be here today and to tell you something about our project that we are making. First of all, I will start with some kind of introduction about the project. We are two cities, Ventspils and Valmiera, and we are together only something about 70,000 inhabitants, and we are very small cities. That's why we are together, both from Latvia. A total, we are 10 partners, 5 from each city. We are actually 250 kilometers apart away from each other, so it's not like next to each one. And the total budget of the project is 6.25 million euros. Of course, 80% is RDF funding and 20% is own co-financing. Ventspils City Council, which I represent, is the leading project partner, and this is the first kind of project in the Baltic states. So we are very happy to be in this project. Then why next generation microcities and what it is about? Well, Europe commonly struggles to much increasing demand for digitally wise, highly skilled labor with possibilities of the aging population, brain drain, and shortage of young talents outside the European large cities. So the next generation microcities project sets a standard for developing future jobs and 21st century skills within and beyond Europe, offering new and innovative solutions for European microcities. So there are 7 million open job vacancies in the information communication technology sector, as well as lack of medical personnel, STEM professionals and teachers. Youth mobility to capital city or abroad after primary education graduation causes additional burden to the local development. As the skill gap widens and the pressure on employees to retrain the top performing workers is growing, the local authorities need to take an action to prevent and reverse fleeing to their best people. So therefore, the project focuses on job creation and business development activities by creating new and innovative solutions in education, business and governance, strengthening social dimension in employment-related policies. So the project exploits the synergy between public, private sector and related stakeholders by shaping the future together and encouraging even more ecosystems to take part. So creating the spillover effect in development of the future society. To address aging population, brain drain and population decline, particularly outside the European large cities, it is the challenge to Europe that Europe commonly actually faces all the time. And the project is aimed to testing new and then improving solutions in Ventspils and Valmiera cities, and also how to develop next generation economy in European microcities. The main objective of the project is to facilitate the local economy by increasing the capacity and skills of the workforce and by providing favorable preconditions for business development and job creation based on distinctive local specificities. In this regard, the project is offering from development to testing and the exploitation new and unproven solutions. First of all, it's ensuring inclusive and sustainable growth of local economy by developing and implementing new career guidance and talent attraction methodology. Secondly, it increased capacity and skills in local economy through innovation, technological capacity in the education institutions and business sector. Then it fosters innovations through education technologies and digital technologies. It supports also and develops entrepreneurship ecosystem, creating new jobs and new workplaces. And fifth, but last but not least, it established the next generation microcity network in national and international level. If we talk about the regional strategic context, then the project is very much in line with Ventspils' information and communication strategy that was developed in Ventspils. Also, it is in line with the Ventspils City Sustainable Development Strategy. This strategy is designed to significantly promote information and communication technologies growth of the Ventspils sector, and it is recognized as the very crucial role of ICT in economic and innovation development, and also well-paid job creation. It is also recognized at the national level that Ventspils has the opportunity to become an innovative city with a high added value industry and engineering, especially in the field of electronics and ICT in the whole Baltic Sea region. And also, if we talk about the Valmiera city, then Sustainable Development Strategy of Latvia that was made until 2030s defines Valmiera as education, production, and innovation center and development center of national significance, where the industry, transport, public sectors, and social and other social infrastructures is developed. So Valmiera's Sustainable Development Strategy clearly defines the focus to innovations already in the mission level. Then if we go next about innovation character of the project, then the project target is to pilot new and unproven solutions, as I already mentioned, for the next generation economy in the European microcities. And we are a very, very microcities, I would say. So the conceptual and technical side of the project was designed with transferability and exploitation perspectives was kept in mind all the time. So the consortium is convinced that the development of jobs, skills, and related data-driven approaches depends on innovation, innovative businesses, education, and governmental models. So according to the benchmarking conducted during the project design phase, a similar project has never been implemented in European Union or other countries related to education technology innovations and foreign direct investment. So the main activities that we are doing in the project is career guidance and talent attraction to the microcities. It is piloting Ventspils and Valmiera strategies, a new innovative career guidance strategy based on the well-known Gatsby Foundation, that is a good career support principles. Great innovation of municipal cooperation as an innovative online tool, Future Career Office have been developed and launched already in Ventspils. This tool helps people who are returning to Ventspils or coming back from other cities or just moving from one city to the other, find out all information they are interested about the city, about schools and hospitals, etc. And also this tool helps to find jobs. And then the next one is innovative education technologies. First of kind education technology factory is almost established. It is digital innovation hub in education. And one of the concepts is innovative smart school. And it will integrate education technologies into education and science. So the kids are more interested in all those STEM professions. Then the next one is new solutions for job creation, innovative foreign direct investment strategy for European microcities that was based by local authorities and made by local authorities. And the next one is the business support and development through innovations and digitalizations, new innovative business development and job creation management model based on the open type workplaces. Makerspaces has been already developed. One makerspace is already working in Valmiera, and the other one will be open in the end of this month in Ventspils. So the next one is the impact of the project. Well, I would like to tell that the main positive changes in the local situation that the project is implementing are the planned activities and development of proposed solutions. By implementing career guidance and talent attraction, it is planned that 100 high-level specialists would be attracted for information communication technology sectors. Companies will be filling vacancies and developing their careers in Ventspils city. The numbers of students in the internet IT faculties would increase by 14%. Lifelong learning programs will increase by 68%. We are still working on those numbers, of course. The project is not on the end date yet. The annual increase of students attracted would be at least 10% by implementing the project and its activities. And by implementing innovative education technologies and 21st century skills and new solutions for job creations, it is planned that at least 1,700 students would be educated using new education technologies, and also, of course, the same number for personnel, academic personnel. And of course, 20 new businesses would be opened, 30 existing businesses developed, the workplace created, and etc. We have great numbers, and we really hope that those numbers will work. We have still 6 months more to go, so we are working very hard on that. Of course, solutions developed during the project implementation will be transferable to ensure that the results can be duplicated in other microcities. And this is one of the biggest aims we are going to. About the stakeholders, yes, we have a lot of stakeholders, mainly, of course, individual approach for each stakeholder that is involved in project implementation is applied to receive reliable and qualitative information, feedbacks, and suggestions. Municipalities and local authorities are engaged by inviting stakeholders to project events via emails and phone calls. Publications and social media accounts also reach this target audience. Educational institutions are reached by project organized activities, and professional education partners and local municipalities also reached via social media and regular newsletters. And of course, then there are students and pupils who are reached mainly by social media. Open window days because of the COVID, not open door days anymore. And then class openings, and the companies were mainly reached by newsletters, articles on all partners' web pages and partners' social accounts. Business organizations are informed about the project activities by press releases, and project partners are participating in business organizations' events informing about the project. Citizens altogether, that are the main stakeholders actually for this project, are informed about the project activities via social media, partners' web pages, and newsletters. Each stakeholder is involved in any activity that are sustainable for him, in particular to receive additional information on what and how to do better, what is still relevant and so suitable for him. Well, we actively use the opinion of the involved parties to draw conclusions about the progress of the project implementations. I did it very, very fast, but I would like to tell you all that please follow us on Urban Innovative Actions homepage, Ventspils Valmiera. And if you have some questions, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn or write me an email. I would love to answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. This was a very, very inspiring presentation, and you pointed out something that's very important for Evora in this region, which is this concept of next generation micro cities. I think there's so much to learn about your experience and all that you said. Really, really impressive. And also, I think that the place and importance of digital innovation processes is indeed fundamental in the process of creating this concept and developing this concept of next generation micro cities. So thank you very much for your presentation. I will hand the word now to João Soares, who's a professor at the School of the Arts of the University of Évora, also a colleague of mine. I'm very happy to have him here. João is an architect too, and he currently chairs the representative board of the School of the Arts. Besides having been very recently elected its head of its architecture department, and he's very much concerned with the sustainable development. So I will hand the word to João Soares, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor, and I would like to welcome and salute my colleagues, and obviously Anna and the organizer Marcos Nogueira and Valentina Russo for the quality and the level of this meeting. It's a pity we are not sharing the same space in Évora. Space is all architecture is about, and it's a kind of our religion. So it's a pity that we cannot share the same space, but I am sure other occasions they will come forward. In my contribution, let me share my screen. Can you see it well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In my contribution to this very stimulating discussion, I will try to address the relevance of architecture as a discipline, moreover, the School of Architecture of Évora University, and in a broader perspective, the relevance of a specific territory and context, the Alentejo region, where Évora is one of the main towns. In doing so, I wish to take as a foreword a small detour in time, going back a little bit, and in space. So please allow me some historical contextualization to present my understanding of the significance of the new European Bauhaus project within the Green Deal and of its pregnancy. So, embedded in the collection of what we could call the Western utopias, it is possible to understand the constant sense of optimism. An idea of a future to come in which everything works out and goes well. At the turn into the 20th century, an Englishman, Ebenezer Howard, invented, I think that's the correct term, the concept of garden cities, an urban rural model of communities to come. And it will have a tremendous impact on cities and in suburbs as well. He put down his ideas on a book named Garden Cities of Tomorrow, of which I am showing you a cover of the first, one of the first editions. First, it was published in 1898 with the title Tomorrow, A Peaceful Path to a Real Reform, being finally reprinted in 1902 with a short title, Garden Cities of Tomorrow. Tomorrow stood for the idea of future, as I was calling before, something beautiful to be built together in a model of precise model of cooperation. After this, and even before, other utopias were dreamed of and conceived. Le Corbusier, for example, would lead a dream of efficiency and of rationality. And in between, the world also made other things, not so beautiful, and 2 world wars destroyed any kind of dream. Bear with me, I'll eventually get to the point. Immediately after the 2 world wars of the first half of the 20th century, I guess no one dared to dream anymore, or anyhow, some ingenuity was lost, as well as the optimism that characterized the utopias. But since dreams are something one cannot get rid of, new people dream new dreams. And I believe it is worth looking at the ideas of a couple of architects, Mrs. Allison and Mr. Peter Smithson. They thought of a dream made with the reality that surrounded them. The street, their own effective street. The place where one can understand the liberty of being and the freedom of being in the middle of the street, any common street, with a chair, a different chair for each person. The street being used as a living room to be enjoyed. This is Tomorrow was their utopia. It was an exhibition that in which they presented an important sum of different materials, not only related with architecture, to show this kind of new reality, not a pure one, but heterogeneous reality. This was their utopia, created with other people in their office, a woman architect, a man architect, another architect, and a photographer. So this is the idea of tomorrow, the idea of the future, embedded in the notion of utopia and very well explained within the ideas of Ebenezer Howard. And this is in a kind of a poetical paradox, the idea of tomorrow, a kind of a present tomorrow, or a tomorrow to make it happen. Maybe it's not right to call this a utopia. It sounds more like a poetic possibility for the present. And that is the main issue that brings me back to the power of the idea of the Bauhaus project within this new European context, particularly within the ideas that were shown in this morning. And this idea I can interpret as utopia, the utopia made possible today. Somewhere back in time, Thomas More invented, so to say, the notion of utopia, and utopia was worked out by Patrick Gedge and Lewis Mumford as the possibility of a utopia made possible. Having started before a war, the dream within the initial Bauhaus was an inclusive one, a dream where different disciplines converge, where technology and craft would meet. Obviously, and nonetheless, a lot still happened with unsurmountable damage. My understanding, therefore, is that the new European Bauhaus has the possibility to be, in the present time, a work made together, having learned from different experiences that already existed. The condition that our planning is facing is a serious one, a very serious one. So there are only few possibilities left to act. And I guess and think and decide that this project will be one of those. So not tomorrow, but today, in a kind of an anticipatory strategy referred before by Florian Schneider. Coming again to the beginning, I think the relevance of architecture goes without saying, and so the responsibility role of architecture. Bjarke Ingels was a very enthusiastic host on the seminary at the end of April, receiving among others Shire Guban and also Olafur Eliassen, an artist with strong connections with architecture. Coming back to architecture and to the teaching of architecture, the way we understand in our department at Évora University, teaching is never detached from a moralistic sense of things. And the notion of context and of the material we call heritage are fundamental structural parts. Such consciousness or awareness should be worked out with the material, a very bodily sense of the practice, our own ateliers. In our own way, we bear in mind the model of the Bauhaus school. We could sum up our strategy, our modus operandi, in the motto, territory, atelier, model, hand. Let me show you a small video, a kind of presentation video of our department. Let's see if it works. Can you see something?
Not yet. Okay, I'm starting.
It's coming here.
Yeah. Okay, I think it will work.
Okay, thank you.
For now, we are not listening. It's with no sound until here.
It's only music. Let me see what.
João, when you share the screen, you must share also the sound.
And where can I do that?
You must stop the
Yes,
chat.
there is a
it
small square on the bottom when you share.
I'm sorry, just if you give me 1 second, I will try, and if I cannot do so,
okay,
I'll see it without the sound. It's better to see it without the sound. I'm sorry, it's a music. It's a beautiful music, but it's a music.
I think maybe you need to stop sharing and share again, and then you'll be able to activate the option of sharing sound.
Compartilhar tela.
I had the same situation yesterday, that's why.
You can listen now?
Okay.
Let's see like this.
Not yet, yes. But you can also leave the link in the chat so people can see.
I'll do that. Thank you. Okay. Oops, sorry. So let me come back to the here and now, and especially for those who don't know Alentejo region, it is important to share one of its most precious values: slowness. Anatel talked about this notion 2 days ago. I'm being serious here. It's a kind of a joke, but it's a deep, serious issue. This is a very important value. Eventually, our world got too fast. In more recent times, slow movements have acquired a broad recognition, not necessarily to dwell on here, but ranging from slow food and starting there to the slow city movements. I want to bring to you also some more tangible examples, so to say, of what the Alentejo has to offer, to understand how it can be effectively recognized also for its material values, considering it as given us the quality of the so-called immaterial or intangible heritage. Two fundamental elements come to my mind, and they were already mentioned here before: wood and stone, or better said, cork and stone. Note how it is slowness that produces the stone, and it is slowness that produces wood, each time at slow geological level. Portuguese contemporary architects, but not just Portuguese architects and not only architects, are engaged in research on cork and the immense possibilities it encloses. In the same way, the special marble stone from Alentejo has gained the world recognition. This is a dimension of an intervention made by Álvaro Siza in New York, presented the white marble from Estremoz, a town near, not far from Évora. Just a kind of a statistical awareness of the relevance of the montado, of the landscape, so to say, in a simple way, that produces cork, and it's effectively an ecosystem. So it's more than just a tree, and that would be enough, but it's more than just a tree. To make, to understand the relevance in a country of our size, so to say. So architects, I was saying, contemporary architects, not only are working with companies, in this case Amorim, and we know the work of Siza, Álvaro Siza, the know of João Luís Carrilho da Graça, that has made very important experiments with concrete and cork to produce a more light and with thermical and acoustical performance concrete. And a small joke, Ai Weiwei was very, very recently in Alentejo, near Évora, and he had the occasion to experiment the cork in first hand. This refers to an intervention made by Carrilho da Graça of an open-air auditorium within the context of the pandemic. And just to close, although we are used to considering natural resources as value, my thinking is that the very definition of resource encloses a somehow not gentle signification, not delicate when confronting the place where we live, our planet. So while I enhance the value of the Alentejo stone and of Alentejo cork, I like to think of both in a perspective of great respect as the true gifts of nature that they are. I believe and I hope that these small shiftings in the way we look at the earth can make all the difference when considering the significance of the word beauty, as it was convoked in the new European Bauhaus with a very deep sense. Again, I come back to the identity aspect of the Alentejo, a sense of slowness. And I think that I could also have spoken only about trees. The tree knows its space. The tree embodies the very idea of sustainability and of beauty. People know that, and trees also know it. Thank you.
Thank you, João, for reminding us of this such an important value as slowness, something which is characteristic of modes of life in Alentejo, and for bringing up the importance of these resources, as you said, in the architectural practice based here in this region. Thank you very much. As we're very, very late, I'm going to hand the word to Uwe Planck-Wiedenbeck from the Bauhaus Universität Weimar, where he's a Dean of Faculty of Civil Engineering. Uwe, after his professional positions as a project engineer, project manager, and managing director, he has been appointed the chair of transport system planning at the Bauhaus University Weimar in 2014. And he was director of the Bauhaus Institute for Infrastructure Solutions and Acts since 2018, and the dean of the Faculty of Civil Engineering. So thank you very much, Uwe. I'm sure this is going to be a great way to conclude this inspiring panel. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much for that introduction, and a very warm welcome from Bauhaus University in Weimar. It is a great honor to participate in this session, and I would like to express my warmest greetings to the organizers and participants of the conference. It was here in that building, not in this office, but in that building, that Walter Gropius founded the Bauhaus more than 100 years ago. And as Weimar is the birthplace of the Bauhaus movement, we are especially delighted about the initiative for the new European Bauhaus. Now, I would like to share my monitor. Sorry. No, that's not right.
Yes, it's working.
It's working?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yes, yes, and we look forward to hearing about ideas, discuss how the Bauhaus principles can help us to tackle the great challenges Europe and the world faces. And today, I would like to link the two greatest challenges in the context of the new European Bauhaus. How do we become climate neutral, and how do we promote the digital transformation? Think and act anew for a green and digital Europe. And that is the mission of my institution. And therefore, it will also be the title of my presentation. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Can you see the second slide? You know this lady?
Yes.
Yeah, about half a year ago, Ursula von der Leyen, our president of the European Commission, published a very inspiring article on how the ideas of the historic Bauhaus can provide a path to a more sustainable and a more digital Europe. And she emphasized the importance of working together across domains, bringing architects, engineers, artists, designers and scientists together to tackle the challenges we face. And she has proclaimed the new European Bauhaus, which is to develop new solutions for the central themes of sustainability and digitalization. And I think both, not only me, but I think both topics are central for Europe, in fact, for the whole world. And at the heart of the matter is the question of how do we want to live in the future? And dealing with that question, I think it is necessary to start at the beginning by talking about the Bauhaus in relation to this exciting and important initiative. The Bauhaus came from Weimar, but it was there only for a few years. Nevertheless, a great impact of the Bauhaus came later when the people, the ideas and the solutions were taken all over the world to USA, to Israel, to Europe, and so on. Yeah, on the next slide, you can see some impressions of Weimar. Yeah, the Bauhaus triggered a profound change in society. It was extremely sustainable because we still build Bauhaus like today, and the design classics are still bought and loved. And however, it was not the specific results that were decisive, but the new way of thinking, designing, and interdisciplinary cooperation. And we often ask ourselves, how did they manage that? How was Walter Gropius able to make such an impact with just a few artists and not so many students? And the answer is very complex and not at all easy to answer, especially not for an engineer like me. But I think one point is very important and indisputable. They brought craftsmen and artists together on the building site. Different disciplines worked, experimented together, and that was at that time quite unique and central. And that is maybe also the central idea of the European Union and its president. From a revolutionary art school in Weimar to an international design movement to modernity. And we should try to solve the central problems of Europe and the world with a new way of working and experimenting together. Engineers, artists, and architects, like today in this great session. Yeah, combining arts and crafts, a new European Bauhaus can create the space to think together about how to design a new way of life in a healthier, more digital, more sustainable Europe. Yeah, these are the two central challenges. Europe must not only become more sustainable, it must become climate neutral, and it must take on the challenges of digitalization. Both are very, very difficult tasks, but we have already allowed a lot of time to pass by without achieving truly sustainable goals. We are very good at formulating goals, but very bad at implementing them. Maybe we can describe it this as a form of ghosting. 1 month we define ambitious goals with a lot of effort, and the next month they are already forgotten because of other issues or problems. So I think it's worth taking a new approach and using the successful Bauhaus idea as a model for the near future. And yeah, how to make Europe greener and more digital are the twin challenges for our generation. And our success in meeting them will define our future. This is from the European Union Commission's digital program. And Europe strives to be the first climate neutral continent with zero net emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050. And digital transition is an important key to Europe's future prosperity and resilience, with focus on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, supercomputing, and digital skills. Yeah, and how do we get climate neutral and advance the digital transformation? We at Bauhaus University are, of course, also dealing with these central questions. Our university has 4 faculties: Faculty of Civil Engineering, Faculty of Architecture, Faculty of Design and Arts, and Media and Informatics. Computer Science is the 4th faculty. And we have been doing so for some time now, but Ursula von der Leyen has set an impulse that has set many processes, discussions, and ideas in motion at our university. Yes, two new programs of the European Union or European Commission are available to address these major challenges: the new European Bauhaus and the European Digital Innovation Hubs. As a university in Weimar, we would like to make an important and sustainable contribution together with our partners from Europe, from Germany, and from other parts of the world. And to this end, we have set ourselves a second central question on which we are working intensively. What do we need to do? And what is our approach? I don't want to speak for the entire Bauhaus University, but I would like to name two important initiatives that we are currently working on intensively. The Bauhaus University is, like many other institutions, is applying to become one of the new European Bauhauses. And there are numerous interdisciplinary working groups collaborating here. Artists, scientists, designers, architects, engineers, social scientists from Weimar and other universities and other places in the world work together. I myself work in the Urban Experimental Lab group or in the Climate Action group. And at the same time, we are one of the projects selected for the second round of the European call for proposals for European digital innovation hubs. And concerning these hubs, a network of around, I think, 200 hubs shall be created in the European Union that will make companies and public institutions fit for digitalization. And one important connecting element of our activities is the Bauhaus Mobility Lab. And here also together with partners from industry, from universities and research institutions, a living lab for mobility, logistics, transport, and energy is created. In that lab, we are developing new solutions, concepts, and products by using approaches of co-creation, methods of artificial intelligence, and by having a focus on experiments. Yeah, and I come to the end. I hope I've been able to convey that we are acting in the spirit of the Bauhaus and yeah, let our skills combine, work together in Europe and experiment. Think and act anew. Think and act like Bauhaus. And thank you very much for attention.
Thank you, Uwe, for this very thought-provoking presentation. I especially appreciated you pointing out the dissonance between the establishment of pertaining goals and the fact that we're not really able to implement change in due time. That's very, very important, especially if we understand that climate neutrality is an emergency, is much more than an emergency. So I see your presentation as a prompt for action in much needed areas. So it's so important to hear that. And I think it was a great close to this great panel. I am sorry we're running 29 minutes late. Yet I would like to open the space for just one or two very succinct questions, if you can. So I will open that space now, and whomever wants to address any of the speakers, please do go ahead. I'm assuming I myself talked too much already, so I would not like to intervene anymore.
I don't know if also some of the speakers had some comments to add in the end, just before we go. I don't know, I have a small question, but I would thank everyone for being here, but I would raise my question to Raquel and maybe Inês, because they have reached some points that were, I don't know, more or less the same, because older people, disabled people, but also migrants and victims of violence are always a big challenge for us all as a society. And I was wondering, how do you foresee these people in the future of Europe, as this new European Bauhaus defines it, like the beautiful, the sustainable, but especially the inclusive? I don't know if you want to make some comments. How do you foresee this in the future?
Can I?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think one of the bases of all our presentations is co-creation and collaborative partnership and work. And for our experience, when we are talking about these specific groups and we are talking about specific groups that suffers, it's very important to integrate them for the beginning in the process. So what I'm talking about is in the beginning of the process, the problematization part of the process must include these people. Because sometimes in a theoretical level, based in our research and our experience, we have, of course, some ideas, we have some proposals, we have some specific problems, but when we confront with real people, we understand and we learn that there are other problems, specific problems related to their experience that are very valuable to the process of thinking the solution. In the future, I think we all hope to have a more inclusive and more sustainable and more correlated future. But we are working on present for these future solutions. And of course, and I highlight the idea of co-creation and the collaborative process with focus groups. Okay.
Thank you, Inês.
Thank you.
I don't know if Raquel wants to
I
say
could.
something. I see that Florian also wants to make a comment. Thank you. Yes, Raquel.
Okay, so I could not agree more. Indeed, co-creation is initiated in the co-design phase. So this implies involving people in the very beginning of the process, and this is what makes a true co-creation process, and not an artificial or publicity thing. So regarding elderly people, how I see them in future Europe, or my organization, how does it see how does they see them in the future? So we see elderly people empowered and participating actively in every aspect of society. Also, we see elderly people co-designing actively in health and care, being active and not passive. Also, we see them co-designing and co-producing innovative technologies, what sounds a bit challenging or maybe even wired, but it is possible. We do this in our living lab, in the Mind Lab of Fundación Intras. Also, we see elderly people being part of the design of their life spaces, being their homes, their leisure places, their institutions. I don't know if you know the Alzheimer's Café, that is a very interesting initiative to integrate elderly people. Also, we have to integrate their perceived sense of aesthetics and their way of understanding culture. And finally, a nice thing is that, beautiful thing, is that I see elderly people teaching younger generations about sustainability and about how to care the environment. And perhaps, how would I say, an extended or enlarged meaning of what is beautiful to them. So expanding a little bit this concept and reaching them and including them in this world that sometimes does not, or apparently does not go well with elderly people and aging. So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Raquel. Florian?
This is a super important and critical topic, yeah, and we would need really a lot of time to unpack this properly. But I really cannot resist saying very briefly something that is very dear to me. If we want to stress test and sandbox and prototype solutions that are addressing these complex challenges of climate neutrality and sustainability, and really understand this as a systemic shift and not just as optimizing our good intentions. incrementally, then we have to change our perspective and not consider, let's say, migrant communities as handicapped in the sense that they need our special care and attention. No, we have to understand them as the ultimate experts, because I mean, they might have bigger problems ad hoc right here, right now, and not prioritize climate neutrality in the same way as maybe a kind of well-settled upper middle class person. Yeah, in a similar way, I mean, we have to address a certain, we have to bear in mind that we have to address a certain hypocrisy here, coming from Norway or living in a country that accumulated all his wealth from the exploitation of fossil fuel energy. It is not a big challenge, or not the most unrealistic challenge, to turn many cities in Norway climate neutral. But this is not where the battle will be fought. Yeah, we have to roll this out, not only across all Europe, but across the world. And here we really have to, and this, I think it's very important in the new Bauhaus context, that the social question is addressed in an adequate and intelligent and constructive way. But this would be a whole other big discussion. I'm looking forward. Thank you very much for this panel. It was really, really interesting and inspiring.
Thank you very much, Florian, and thank you for your contributions and for this very thought-provoking thought in the end, which would, of course, be a good motto for a next conversation. So I would like to thank all the speakers and all who participated for this very enlightened discussion. And I'm very happy to have been here with you today. And I hand over to Monica Rogério to close the session. Thank you again, everybody.
Yes, same for me. Thank you, everyone. It was really great to have you all here. And I would just say that for me, as being an art student and working in design, and it was impossible to see the books and the images from the Bauhaus, and knowing the results and not wanting to be there. So for me, it's really exciting and it's really inspiring to come back to that movement and have the opportunity to make it again real. So thank you all, and it was really great to have you all this morning.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.